module, which is very, very important module. But whatever that we have seen is also depends upon the client's requirement. Okay, that organizational management module, that's important, but still it depends upon the client requirement. Suppose if any client wants to implement SAP HR, like time management, whether it is a positive time evaluation, whether it is a negative time evaluation, or a time payroll, whether it is a US payroll or India payroll, for example, benefits or taxation, any country taxation. But prior to that, any client, whoever it may be, he has to implement the module that we are going to start now. That is a personal administration module. Okay, but as the one of these structures in SAP HR, the organization structure that we completed, so that is also important where you can integrate, okay, the positions with the personal administration module when you hire an employee. But even without implementing organizational module that we completed yesterday, we can also create directly the same objects here in our personal administration module. Okay, we'll see all these now, how we can handle. First, as I said in the beginning of the classes, we have some structures in SAP HR. Hello, madam, can you please mute? Under your name, did you
Okay.
see that? Yeah. Yeah, fine. See, in the beginning of the classes, I have already explained to you there are some structures in SAP HR. So I want you all of you, what are they? How many structures are there in SAP HR? Mr. Akin, Mr. Cornell. There are some structures in SAP HR, and these structures are nothing but your completeness of your SAP HR. So I want you all of you, how many are there? Masideta?
That's five.
Yes, there are five structures, but you always, you often hear like in SAP HR, we have three structures, like what we call enterprise structure, and we call it like personal structure and organizational structure. But here we have people say like three structures, but usually we have in SAP HR the total are the five structures: enterprise structure, personal structure, organization structure. What are the other fourth and fifth? What are the other fourth and fifth? Yes, very good. Pay structures
Pay structure,
and
wage type structure,
yes,
wage type
wage type
structure.
structures. Okay. See, the pay structure and wage type structure comes in a payroll when we start. Okay. But now we have already completed the organization structure. It depends upon the client requirement. Okay, and optional module is not like an optional, but it is important. But when compared with you implement like time and payroll, the personal administration is more important. So anybody who is going to work in SAP HR, what happens most of the time? The people who come to learn SAP HR, they would directly come and ask like, I want to learn payroll, I want to learn time management. But that is not correct approach to learn the SAP HR. The correct approach to learn the SAP HR, you must start at any cost learning the personal administration module. Okay, but here we feel like a bit a different process of developing the application. We'll see that, and at the end you will see the output. Okay, now let me explain to you. The first thing is enterprise structure. What exactly the enterprise structure? The enterprise structure is something, it is very mandatory. Okay, without enterprise structure we can't do anything as a consultant in SAP HR. Okay, so what exactly the elements we have in enterprise structure? Like we have the client. Okay, you already know what exactly the client. The second thing is the company and the company code, personal area and personal sub area. Whatever that you see in highlighted yellow color, and these elements come under the enterprise structure. Okay, and we also have the personal structure, which deals with three things. The three concepts are there in a personal structure. One is employee group, and the second one is employee group, where most of the people say only those two elements are there. But In personal structure, we have three elements. One is employee group, second one is employee subgroup, and the third one is payroll accounting area. Payroll accounting area is also part of your personal structure. Okay, let me explain to you very clearly. See, in the enterprise structure, we have a client, we have a company core, and we also have a client, company code, personal area, personal sub area, then the second one is company name. Okay, here let me tell you here when I say the client, it is not that something you have to go and worry about. You know, as you log into the system with a 2-digit numeric code, okay, you all remember that what is the range for the client that we use, and that which is standard from SAP, which has been predefined and through which you are able to log into a system. What is that client number range? Come on guys. Double triple zero double zero. We have a 3-digit numeric code. What is it? Any idea? See, when you all try to log in to the system, you find on the system of the first page the client. Do you all observe it? Did you anyone observe that?
As the 800.
Yeah, it's just like 800. You see that we have the client digit code, which is a predefined through which you are able to understand what kind of system it is, whether it is a training system, whether it is a real-time system. So we have a that standard client number, that is a 0002 double nine, not 999. So out of these, the 0002 to 999, we have again divided into, come on, it's already explained. 0002 799 is real-time system, and 800 to 899 is a IDES system. Okay, but what about that other thing, that 900 to, come on, there is noise, Mr. Cornell. 999 is also a real-time system, and some people will use it for test system. Okay, some use it for testing for whatever the project you have done in real time. So now let me tell you, it's for example, who is going to give you this access to you in real time? This will be completely handled by the basis consultant, and he is the one just who is going to work like a networking person, like we call it is general terminology. A basis consultant is just like a networking consultant. Okay, but he's a technical consultant, in other words we can call it as. So now let me come back to this particular explanation. See here, if you just look at this, that this is the standard client number range which is predefined. Okay, now if you just look at this, if you have to log into the system, you are using by default 800, because through which you can understand this is the test system. Okay, that means it is a training system, or we can also call it as a sandbox. Okay, we can also call it as a sandbox, or we can also call it as a training system. So what exactly the IDES stands for? International Demonstration Educational System. Okay, it is IDES stands for. So where you are able to log in any of these 3-digit code between this range, you can select, and maybe it can be provided to you by a basis consultant, and with your credential like your username and password, and you are able to do your training, and you are able to do your own practice with which you are able to log in. And in the real time, when you are in the project, you are going to have access between these ranges, like 000 to 799. Okay, and you develop your project in a development server, and once you develop, you can also test it. You will give to the user to test the project. Some clients, what they do, they will send it for UAT testing between this 900 to triple nine. It depends upon their requirement. Okay, it depends upon how they want to make it as per their testing. So that's all, with regarding the client. So what about the company? The company is something like, I'll give you a simple example here in the presentation. You see the Tata is a company. Okay, I'll give a simple example. If two examples I'll give. One is a Tata group of companies and the second one is Asian Paints. Okay. Okay. See here, if you just look at this, very clearly, it is showing you very clearly like Tata group of companies. In this particular Tata, okay, you have a Okay, you have different companies, like you can call it as Tata Motors is one company, Tata Mobiles is one company, and Tata TCS, Tata Consultancy Services is also a separate platform, a separate company. So it is, of course, it is a group of company. It is a company. Tata is a company where it is having a different, okay, services provided, like Tata Motors. It is a separate company, different operations, different employees, and separate pay. Here also Tata Mobiles. Here also we have a mobiles. So here we have a different unit where you have a separate employees, you have a separate locations, you have separate managers and everything. In the same way here also, since it is a Tata group of companies have operating in the different services, here how many company codes we need to maintain for Tata Motors and Tata Mobiles and Tata TCS? Any guess, Madam Mazideta? How many company codes we require here? Here we should have three company codes, because here the Tata is having a three services. Tata Motors should be having one company code. Tata Mobiles is also must have one company code, and TCS consultancy services must be having one company code. So here how many company codes we need to create in the system for the client Tata? Three company codes. But let me come back to another example. I just told you the Asian Paints. Asian Paints is not a group of company. It is a paints company directly. But how many company codes we need to create here? One. Okay. So if you understand that differentiation, you can maintain your own concepts easily. Okay. Asian Paints is a single company. It's an independent company. So it is not having any groups. It's just completely a paints company. Okay. So the company is something where you need to understand all these, by this example. But now I'm just going to explain the second thing is company code. Okay, what exactly the company code? The company code is nothing but it is a legal independent unit. It is a legal independent unit. Company code is a independent legal entity, you can call it as. It is a legal entity, and it is a mandatory for any client who is going to implement, whether it is a Tata Motors, whether it is a Tata Mobiles or consultancy or paints company or Reliance group of companies. We should have a company code. So it is a independent legal entity. Why we need to maintain independent legal entity? Because in order to maintain its own balance sheet, in order to maintain its own balance sheet. Okay, in real time, what happens? In real time, this company code will be defined by the FI consultant. Okay, it will be defined by the FI consultant or FICO consultant in real time. But we don't have here the FICO consultant that to define the company code. So we will do that. Whatever the FICO consultant will do in real time. So we are going to do that particular configuration of your definition of your company code. And as I said, this enterprise structure is a mandatory. And without this enterprise structure or ES, okay, we can't do anything as a consultant. We can't do any configurations in the system for SAP HR to develop the client requirement. Okay, the enterprise structure is very, very important. So here, I hope that you all understand what exactly the company code is all about. The company code is nothing but it is an independent entity. It is an independent legal entity in order to maintain its own balance sheet. In real time, the company code will be defined by the FI consultant based on the business blueprint. Okay, based on the business blueprint, that is a BBP. Okay, now let me explain to you for the second thing is personal area. When we understand the personal area is nothing but it is a geographical location. We call it as in our terminology. Okay, the personal area is nothing but locations, geographical locations. So for example, like Hyderabad, in Hyderabad, let me tell you here, you don't have to follow the same way that I'm explaining. Whatever that it is going to make a sense for you and for the client, you can define it. It is not like I explain to you and I explain. It is a flexible. SAP HR can be implemented as it makes sense and as you like it. It's up to the client requirement. And you don't have to follow the same way that I am explaining. It is up to you how we make it. It's not the same way that you need to define the same scenario. The same scenario can be defined in any way. I'll tell you the simple example. Here you have the corporate Hyderabad and you have Mumbai and Chennai. And even if directly if you are having like departments, you can make it. But here you have to directly understand the personal area is as a geographical locations of the company, geographical locations of the company. Suppose you are having the motors maybe in Hyderabad, or maybe you are having the locations in Mumbai and Chennai. And what about the personal sub area? The personal sub area is nothing but sub classification of your personal area. Sub classification of your personal area. It can be like Hyderabad is having again sub classifications like HR department, finance department, marketing department, and information technology. Are you all getting what exactly I'm explaining? Everyone here, yes or no? How many of you are able to follow? Okay, fine then. So now I hope that you all understood what exactly the enterprise structure is all about. Client. Come again about the personal sub area. The personal sub area is sub classification of your personal areas, subdivisions of your personal areas. Suppose you have Tata Motors, okay, company code, and the Tata Motors is having the personal areas like Hyderabad corporate office, plant 1 in Mumbai, plant 2 in Chennai. These are all personal areas of your company Tata Motors. And here this Hyderabad corporate office is having the subdivisions. Those we call it as personal sub areas like HR department, finance department, marketing and IT. Is it clear, Mr. Akin? Okay, fine then. Next we have the now. Yes, okay, fine then. So now let me explain to you. Now it's I hope that it's very clear to everybody with regarding the enterprise structure before we start configuration. But in real time, the actual SAP HR consultant work will start from the personal area. Okay, in real time, the SAP HR work will start from when okay, the SAP HCM consultant is going to start his own configurations of the company as per his client requirement from the personal area. With regarding the client definition and with regarding the FI consultant, client will be given to a basis consultant, to log into the system based on the roles and responsibilities that you are going to have as a consultant, whether you are an associate, whether you are going to be a project manager or a team lead or senior consultant, whatever it may be. But with regarding the company code, it is going to be defined by the FI consultant. But we don't have the FI consultant here, but I'll explain to you how we can define. If there is no FI, we need to define it. And with regarding the personal areas is nothing but a geographical location of the company. And in real time, the SAP HR consultant work starts from the personal area place. In the same way, the personal sub area is something like the subdivisions of your personal area. Okay. Now, let me explain to you the another concept like employee group and employee subgroup. Okay, so these are all the things comes from the personal structure. Okay, remember, people always confuse the personal area, personal sub area comes in personal area, it's personal structure it seems. That's absolutely wrong. Personal structure, you have again three concepts. One is employee group and employee subgroup and payroll accounting area. Okay, again, most of the people forget about the payroll accounting area here. Let me tell you what exactly the employee group. The employee group is nothing but it is the relationship of the employee with the employer. What kind of relationship? He is like a salary, whether it is like apprentice, or whether he is something like contract or whatever it may be. The employee group is something like the relationship of the employee. Relationship of the employee or the employer. So you can just go and define, okay, the first employee group as, for example, you can configure the employee group, for example, like what we call salaried employees, for example, salaried or maybe contract, you can take a lot of examples as you like. Okay, so how you can create in the system the salaried employees? The salaried employees you can create in the system, okay, with one digit numeric code, okay, with one digit, okay, numeric code. How you need to define? Oh, I forgot about here. Let me come back with regarding the company code. The company code when you define, it is also very important. Every, like for example, let me come here. So you have a company code, you have personal area, personal sub area, employee group and employee subgroup. All these, okay, the functionalities have its own technical names. I don't have to explain to you those things now, but from the beginning, I want to make you all get accustomed with these technical names, because as you go into the subject, you will see the connection. And every structure in the system, like company code, have its own technical name, and personal area is having its own technical name, and personal sub area, an employee group, an employee subgroup. Okay, please kindly by heart all these, it's very very important. For company code, we have a technical code that is a BUKRS. Okay, why we need to know all these? In real time, if there is any kind of issue you face with the company code, so you need to go and approach the ABAP consultant is a technical consultant who is going to support you. Then how we will not understand if you say something like that company code, you need to say the technical name. I'll tell you how you can identify the technical names in the system, so that you can understand the technical terminology. So please remember all these. I will be asking at any moment. Okay, I need the answers for all this. The company code is something, okay, you can also call it as a technical name. Sometimes you can also call it as a field names. You can also call it as a sub feature. Okay, you can call it as a technical name. You can call it as sub feature and the field names as well. Okay, remember. And in the same way, you also have the personal area. For personal area also we have a sub feature. I'll tell you what exactly the feature in SAP HR. It plays very important role. I think Mr. Daniel and Cornell knows the value of it. Okay, so I don't ask you, don't worry, boss. So the personal area is something called it as a WERKS. WERKS is it's called as the, you can identify as it is a sub feature or a technical name on the feature name for the personal area as a technical information where you can get on the personal area. Okay, so please remember all this. Rest of other things are, you can just, but with regarding the, you interact with the technical consultant, it's very very important. So that's the reason I'm just explaining now itself. Now let me explain to you with regarding the personal sub area. Even the personal sub area is also there. You have the technical name, that is a BTRTH. BTRTH. Please remember, this is also another important sub feature, okay, for your personal sub area. Okay, so now itself from the beginning, if you don't have to worry about a lot of things as you go on, like maybe my God, I need to buy heart. Yes, there are few things that you have to buy heart at any cost. Okay, like table names and transaction codes. But as you go on, you will get accustomed of all these things. Okay, and rest of other things will be very easy. Okay, like you all by heart at info types in organizational management. Here also we have some of the important info types. I'll be telling you all this, the role of the info types here in SAP HR. Okay, the only the module in SAP HR which deals with the info types, no other module having the info types. Okay, let us come back to the subject. Employee group. The employee group is something, the relationship of the employee with the company. So even for the employee group also we have one technical name, that is a PERSG. PERSG is a technical name for your employee group. I'll be asking tomorrow. Okay, I want the answer. Next one, you can say the same example how you can create the employee group and employee subgroup and all. So in the same way, employee subgroup. Employee subgroup is nothing but, it is, we can call it as a subdivision of your personal area. Okay, subdivision. Okay, subdivision of your personal area or sub classification of your personal area. How we can define this? Suppose you have the example here, the salaried employees here, for example. So these salaried employees, for example, monthly, your company is going to pay them on monthly basis. Okay, but how you are going to pay this salaried employees is employees going to have. But in the salaried employees, again we are going to have subdivisions. For example, like you have the employee subgroup, like some companies, the salaried employees may be weekly employees, some salaried employees can be monthly employees, some salaried employees will be paid on bi-weekly, or something like, you can take these examples like monthly, weekly and all. Okay, so that's why it said, as it makes sense for your understanding and you define with the client and you interact with the client, you can make it as you like, but you need to follow the scenario. Okay, then you will understand of all these what I'm explaining now later on, and you can start. But here in SAP HR, there are few things that you must concentrate. Awareness is a lot of important, that thing, it is very important. That practice very important, and observation, how what exactly you are observed on each screen. The more you observe, the more you will get. If you don't observe and if you follow what I teach, you will not get any subject. You will only get the subject I teach you. But we need to observe. You need to just do whatever you want in the system. Nothing will happen, but you replace it so that everybody is happy. okay, when you all practice. Okay, so here employee subgroup is all about the subdivision of your personal area. Even for employee subgroup is also having its own technical name. The technical name is nothing but PERSK. PERSK is the technical name for your employee subgroup, okay, that you can understand and know the value of this as you going on into the subject. Yes, you will realize, yes, he made us to understand all this beforehand, and by you will be able to connect with all these the technical names I'm just explaining, because even as you go and learn the subject, these technical names are playing to they are going to play very important role. That's the reason I'm just explaining here. And here you can create the employee subgroup with any 2-digit alphanumeric. With any 2-digit alphanumeric like 21 or 22 or like that. You will understand when I just show you in the system. Now let me also explain to you the payroll accounting area. The payroll accounting area is something grouping of your employees. Group the employees based on some parameters, okay, maybe based on similar characters who are having in terms of frequency, in terms of payment date. So you are going to group the employees, that is called, and based on that you are going to pay the employees. So this we will see separately when I explain in a payroll. When I start the payroll module, I'm going to explain this particular concept separately. That means you are going to have in your company different types of employees. Maybe you are going to have a salaried employees on monthly basis, contract employees on monthly basis. Then what exactly the payroll accounting area? The payroll accounting area grouping of your client employees. Okay, I'm just going to explain here. See, I just put here my own definition, not as for the SAP terminology. Okay. Now, what is a payroll accounting area? It's a grouping of your client employees whose payroll has to run on similar characteristics and the payment date. So, if I have to explain in SAP terminology, a grouping of your employees based on the period parameter, okay, that is a frequency, similar characteristics, the period parameter and the date modifier. You are going to define this payroll accounting area. So you just don't worry about this payroll accounting area. So you will know it very well when we start the payroll module. Very soon we'll do that. Okay. So these are all the things that you all have to understand before you start configuration in the system. If you don't know all this, no, you will not understand. So by this you are able to understand the enterprise structure, what exactly it is, and then you are able to understand the personal structure, and you are also able to understand the org structure that we have already seen until yesterday. Okay, so now you are able to define in your own terminology. If somebody is going to ask you what exactly the enterprise structure and personal structure and org structure, yeah, that I will explain. Don't worry, Mr. Emmanuel. Okay. Yes, there is a technical name that also must be known to you. So don't worry, for everything you will not be having the technical names. As for now, what are the things that you're supposed to learn? So those things let us concentrate. Rather, you just go and run and behind. So now you must understand that you have, like the company code, and based on the same explanation you must start learning, and you must define your own companies, and you can see. Now let me tell you when you are how you are going to define in the system. Okay, with regarding the company can be any 6-digit alphanumeric. Remember, please write down, it's very very important for interview sake. Okay, now the company code can be created with any 4-digit numeric code. Alphanumeric can be alphabets, can be numeric. The personal area can also be created with any 4-digit alphanumeric. And the personal area is also can be created with any 4-digit alphanumeric. Employee group can also be created with any single digit alphanumeric, and employee subgroup can be also created with any 2-digit alphanumeric. Please, when you come to the next tomorrow class, I want that I'm going to ask all these tomorrow. If you don't respond, you will see me. Okay, next one. I'll be giving you this document. I've given you some explanations here that, the Tata, RAM, or see, these are all company codes. You see that, the personal area, Mumbai, Chennai, HR, personal sub areas, the company, and you can see the company. These are all company. And these are all, what do we call? This is the company code, and this is the company name. Okay. So as you go on, I'll be giving you all these documents, and this is defined like, so as you understand in a simple way. So I'm also, before I just go and explain, we also have to know the info types in SAP HR. As you all know that info types in what do we call in organizational management, in the same way here also we have some of the info types. What exactly the info type, Mr. Cornell? What do you mean of info types? Come on. Info type means, Mr. Akin, hello Madam Mazideta, what do you understand of info type means? My God. Yes, it is a piece of information which stores. Very good, very good. It is a piece of information which stores. So you will understand all this. In the same way, you have the for personal administration, you have its own range of your info types. For organizational management, you have its own range of your info types. For time management, payroll as well. Even for any country taxation, for India payroll, we have info types separately. For US payroll, its own info, it has its own info types. So we are going to store the information in these info types at employee level. Okay, at employee level. So we'll understand what exactly this is going to store the piece of information. Now I'm just going to give you some of the info types. Please kindly write down and by heart all these. Okay, you have to by heart, no other go. If you just take extra pain in the beginning of the classes, later on you will enjoy yourself the subject. Okay, the info type 0 is actions, and info type 1 is organizational assignment, and then info type 2 is a personal data. I think I have already explained all these earlier, but still I am just again giving time to remind of all these before we start all these configurations in the system. Next, info type 3, payroll status. Next, info type 6, addresses. Info type 7, plan working time. Info type 8, basic pay. Info type 9, bank details. Info type I think info type 14. Info type 14 is something like, we can call it as a recurring payments. Recurring payments under info type 15, additional payments. So these are all the info types, very, very important. Any consultant who is going to work, so whatever that I am giving will be same for even for international payroll as well. Okay. So these are all going to be the same even for your international payroll. So I'm also going to give you another info type like 16 info type is a contract element. Very important, where most of the people don't concentrate on that, but you will be asked a lot of questions on this info type 9, 16 and 19. The 19 is something monitoring of tasks. And then we also have another info type 41 is a date specifications. Okay, so please kindly by heart all these info types. Okay, and I'm going to explain everything because these going to be the same for any country you work in real time. Okay, it also covers international payroll because some countries they don't have the taxation for them, like in the most of the Middle East countries they don't have the tax part, so you can work with the same knowledge that I'm going to teach you, but nothing talks about tax. I will talk about the tax when the tax part comes. Why you're worried? Huh? I will tell you. Don't worry, boss. Yeah, I know when to give you that each input. When you have to concentrate. Don't worry about that. I'm just giving. I'm just dividing it, okay, and just show you in the system all the configurations in tomorrow's class. Till then, you try to go through all these. Okay, and again listen to the same class, and then it's okay. Okay, I hope everyone is able to understand. Hello, Madam Priyanka gar, you are able to understand the class? You have anything that you
Yes,
want to
sir.
ask?
No, I understood from the personal area and the enterprise,
Okay,
but organizational before module I have missed, so I have to catch up on that.
sure. Don't worry, madam. You will understand it very clearly. I will help you on that. Okay. So, okay, then see you all. Hope if there is anything, if there is nothing to be asked, so we'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow. Good night to everyone. Bye, madam.
Bye,
Bye
sir.
bye. Good night. Bye.